Many of you know me as the leader of Hermitcraft, or the admin, making the Minecraft server run behind the scenes, but neither of these are entirely true. Many moons ago in the second half of Season 2, I stepped up to our leaderless group and asked to take a role in organising and directing our shared future together. Since I never created Hermitcraft, I considered it a stewardship of the throne, running Hermitcraft in the absence of another. It came with the responsibility of handling the world and physical server it resided on, and with this I learned a lot about running a Minecraft server, not just from a technical perspective but a communal one too. And things have changed since then, a lot. I no longer have this stewardship role, having chosen to step down, let others take the lead and focus on serving my fellow hermits through the technical side of the game. I keep the server running, maintain the world regularly, and organise the creation of datapacks and mods, all with the help of some wonderful people who contribute their time to help Hermitcraft shine bright. So what are these videos all about then? A brief answer, I simply wish to share my insights and knowledge with all of you. But that is not so straightforward, because the common question I am asked, which is, how do you run the Hermitcraft server, can mean a couple of things depending on who's asking. Is it a technical question about the connectivity and hardware, a gameplay inquiry related to mods and datapacks, or a social question about organising groups and keeping players motivated, the latter being another common question I received too. So eventually I decided to cover these topics in depth alongside the server's origin story. This will be the first of 3 videos about Hermitcraft, and in this one we will cover the mechanics of our server and how the world is set up for us to play on. A common question about running the Hermitcraft server is who hosts it, and the answer? We host it ourselves, which is unhelpful and leads to more questions, of which a YouTube video is probably not a great place to learn about setting up Debian distros with Docker hosting a pterodactyl control panel for... you get the point. What you need to know is that we have a dedicated server, one single piece of hardware doing one job, running Hermitcraft. The hardware we picked was based on the CPU's single-threaded performance. This lone metric is a huge determining factor for the performance of a Minecraft server under pressure, and should be used to estimate performance. RAM, on the other hand, assigning more is actually counterproductive, but only in a minor way. It has been suggested that around 10 or 12 gigabytes is more than sufficient. Of course, all components of server hardware play a role, and connectivity is another factor altogether. But the key detail is that we run a dedicated server, which may be overkill for some players, but if you're looking for the best performance, it's the only way to go. If you came here wanting to know what to look for when hosting a Minecraft server, then I can point you in the right direction. This video was made in affiliation with Logic Servers, who not only host Minecraft, but tons of other games too. They specialise in both web hosting and game servers, and they operate their own network infrastructure, meaning traffic management and hardware configurations are optimised for the task at hand. Best of all, they offer dedicated servers, meaning you can have a whole machine dedicated to Minecraft just like Hermitcraft does. You can pick from a variety of data centers with no extra charges for premium locations, and see what CPU is on offer too. They also offer one-click installs for over 700 modpacks and other editions of Minecraft too, including snapshots and Bedrock. Interested? With promo code Xisuma, you can get 20% off, so click the link in the description box and get 20% off your first purchase. So we have touched on hosting, the Hermitcraft server is up and running, but what's next? Well, there is mods, datapacks and world maintenance. Now if you have ever played on a server, built a farm and found out it doesn't work like in single player, this might be because of Spigot. Spigot is a modded server that changes how the game behaves, which may very well result in your contraptions not working correctly, but it's not to say that it's always a bad thing, as it allows for faster performance at the expense of preserving vanilla features. Not to mention, on the minigame servers, the vanilla experience doesn't matter anyway. But here on Hermitcraft we want to preserve the vanilla experience, and therefore we use Fabric. On top of Fabric and its API, we run a handful of mods to optimize performance without compromise. And it was at this point that I had a moment of deja vu, for recently I made a video listing out the very same mods I use in my Hermitcraft series. For a deep dive you should head over to that video after this one. For the quick rundown, we use Phosphor to improve the lighting engine, Lithium for general optimizations, View Distance Fix for Hermits to control the view distance client side, Status mod to passively communicate current activities in the tab menu like streaming or recording. Simple voice chat enables us to talk in-game when in proximity of one another. And audio player mod allows us to upload audio and attach custom sounds to record discs and goat horns.
Are you ready for it?
I think yeah.
No.
We also recently added Coords Finder, which allows players to bookmark locations in the world and look them up through the chat interface. Now, not all enhancements are brought to the server through mods. We also make use of Datapacks, and the one you're probably most interested in will be the Armor Statues Datapack. This one gives you that magical book that allows you to manipulate and interact with armor stands, and of course this has led to tons of amazing creations on the Hermitcraft server. Now there are a lot, so I'm going to give you a brief rundown. We have the AFK display to change a player's name to grey when they haven't moved for more than 5 minutes. Anti-Enderman griefing puts a block in Enderman's hands that they can't actually place in the world, so this stops Enderman from picking up blocks, which over time tends to ruin the Minecraft landscape. Coordinates HUD is an alternative to pressing F3 to see your coordinates in the world. Instead it will simply display it in the bar of text that appears above your hotbar. Durability ping is a warning system for the player. If their tool or weapon is dangerously close to breaking, then they can get an alert either through sound or through text on screen, and all of this is highly configurable. On Hermitcraft, you might have noticed that all mobs in the world, passive or hostile, they will drop their own head, which the player can then use. This is thanks to the More Mob Heads data pack, and another one that's relevant is the player heads drop. So if a player kills another player, their head will also drop. Nether Portal Coordinates is a fantastic tool that you can activate in chat, and then it will give you the equivalent of the coordinates in the other dimension. You can use this both in the overworld and in the nether dimension, and it's great for hooking up nether portals. Then we have Silence Mobs, which enables you to rename a name tag, and then if you use that name tag on a mob, it will become silent, which is great for keeping a mob inside of your base and it not annoying you, or for maybe pranking another hermit. Unlock Recipes Trigger is a simple command that will just unlock all of the recipes that you have in the crafting bench for you from the get-go, so you don't get all of those pop-ups throughout the season. The next packs are for the spectator account or the camera account, which many of us have on this server. TP Tools is a bunch of commands that enables you to teleport your camera account around the world or into a different dimension. Then there is Spectator Conduit Power and Spectator Night Vision, and as you might have guessed, these toggle on and off, so if you want to record underwater or at night but have some good visibility, then you've got these options. And last of all, we have some data packs that tweak crafting recipes, mainly universal dyeing and concrete dyeing, which enable you to re-dye coloured wall or coloured concrete, for example. So this season and last season of Hermitcraft, you have seen custom textures and 3D models brought into the game. This is done through a resource pack, but more importantly there's a data pack that enables it to happen inside the vanilla game, and this is important because it means when the world download is shared at the end of a season, you'll be able to experience this the same way that we have. Now this is called the Custom Roleplay Data Pack, and it enables you to bring in those custom textures and custom models into the game for a resource pack. Unfortunately, this video is not the place to teach you about the complexities of creating 3D models, attaching textures to them, and then getting that to work inside a resource pack. That is a whole separate set of skills that you'll have to learn somewhere else. Now, you might have come here wanting to recreate this experience for yourself. Well, I have good news. We have set up a CurseForge mod pack that you can run in single player or as a server. As you might guess, the server configuration is the same as Hermitcraft with all of the mods and data packs included. If you use the mod pack in single player, it will be identical to my personal set of mods for playing on Hermitcraft. A link to the pack can be found in the description box down below. Now we move on to world maintenance, an administrative job, the task of keeping the world in good health. And this is one of the biggest jobs that I do, and it's called world pruning. Now over the course of a season, players will explore the world, which creates a lot of chunks, and this in turn takes up a lot of hard disk space. Now most of what's generated is not actually land that the player settles on through building a base or creating a farm, and so a large portion of the world is actually unused, and over a season this can really add up to a large world size. So on a monthly basis, what I do is take the server offline and then I prune the world. This is the act of identifying chunks that have not been loaded for more than 2 minutes, and in most cases then deleting them from the world. You've got to be careful though, but most of the time if a player has been in an area for more than 2 minutes, it's because they were doing something of value there, and then this area is spared from being culled by the world pruning. And to do this, I use an app called MCA Selector. It's what you've just seen on the screen right now, and like many of the other things talked about in this video, there'll be a link to it in the description box below. So over the course of a season, this world pruning keeps the world size small, and this means that we can keep more backups of the world, and also when it comes to you downloading it, it's going to be a reasonable size at the end of a season. Now another aspect of world maintenance that actually any player can undertake on the Hermitcraft server is cleaning out caves. We have a special data pack that enables the player to go exploring with their spectator cam. It can highlight mobs that have picked up items and are just sitting around in caves, and of course these mobs are using their pathfinding and their AI, and they're taxing the server. So with this data pack you can go in and clear out some of those mobs that are just taking up resources. Hopefully this gave you some ideas for what to do within your own community. What I'd like to do next is highlight a common theme. These tools are solutions to existing problems. Seems obvious to say, right? But in the history of Hermitcraft, a purist approach to running a vanilla server held us back from optimizing performance, gameplay, interactivity, and creativity. At a point in time it became clear that each time a problem is discussed, customizing the game to some extent could be a solution. I think this mindset is important within a community. When you see an obstacle or hurdle, it's easy to put up with it and just go around. However, some problems do have unseen solutions. It's something to keep in mind as we move into our next discussion, as this example relates to the technical, but also to social problems too. And that will be in the next chapter of this trilogy, a deep dive on a social aspect of Hermitcraft. This mini-series is a part of my Minecraft Discussions playlist, which you should check out for any interesting videos you're yet to see. But also in case parts 2 and 3 are out when you're watching this one. It's linked down below. And on that note, thanks for watching, leave a like to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.